diet back what you haven't. Hello? Hello. Hey, did that work? Holy cow. I guess just unplugging it and plugging it back in made the difference. Hello, hello. Okay. So, 2 days in a row, audio issues. But I don't know. This one was different. The other one was well, whatever. Anyways, thanks for checking out my broadcast today. Today is day 82 of my 3-year challenge to get my health and wellness under control. I see. So this is about the 47th broadcast, and things have been going great with my diet so far. Right now, I am going to pop up the video here. This is actually the weigh-in I was going to do yesterday, or I videoed yesterday. So if you follow the Discord, you've actually seen this video. But it was I was gonna play it yesterday, but my internet went out the same as it had last week, and I know they had some major problems last week, so I assume it was that same thing. But I'm gonna pop this up, and while I'm getting this going, I had some questions that I was gonna put out there. I'd love it if anybody wanted to answer. There was, what are you doing to succeed in your diet? Um, if you're not, you haven't started a diet, what's keeping you from getting started? And with your diet, what are you doing to make it easier than the alternative? What are you doing to make sure that you don't go back to the old habits, that when you're faced with a situation and you find a way not to go to those bad eating habits? How are you making that happen? But I'm going to get this going here. Like I said, this is technically yesterday's weigh-in. I was 401.6 on Monday, and so then yesterday I weighed in, and it looks like it's going to hit 400. So I'm at 400. That's 1.6 pounds down in 2 days, which is great. I'm not going to complain about that by any means, but I am going to screenshot my disappointment. Let's see. Like that, right? Um, it is, but I'm so close. I'm not worried about it. It's something where this is 400 is a small step. I mean, 300, when I get to 300 and more, but it's still great to be 120 pounds down. It is or 119.8 pounds down, but it is, uh, it's still great. I mean, everything has just been so much easier. It is, I've been doing a lot more running around and getting groceries, and I've talked about it, I know, the last few streams. And it's just so nice to not be getting worn out so easily. Let's see. anybody has any non-scale victories, I'd love to see them as well. A lot of people, let's see, yeah, everybody commenting about the audio, and then Carrie says so close. Yes, I was so close, but uh, like I said, that puts me at 119.8 pounds down total, and on my million calorie challenge, and with that, the math comes out to an additional 5,600 calories off of or out of my fat reserves around my waist. And that puts me at a total of 419,300 calories that I've been able to remove from my body in 82 days. So that is awesome. So I had a few of my own non-scale victories. I suppose the first one is just that I'm continuing my education with my diet. Anthony says, "Awesome, thanks, Anthony." The And so I started a new book from a recommendation, and it is Eat. It might be Eat to Live. I wrote Eat for Life, but I think it's Eat to Live. Um, but it's by Dr. Furman. It is whole food, plant based diet is kind of what they are talking about in the book, but it is Eat to Live. Yeah, I wrote it wrong. Yeah, so Eat to Live is the name of the book. But just a couple of the things that he's talked about, or that in the book that kind of echo what I've been doing. Is that a lot of the foods that I was eating because of the fibers and the nutrients being removed from them and being, eating processed foods, my body wasn't actually registering them as the correct caloric volume of what what I was eating. The things in our body that tell us how much we've eaten or when we've eaten enough, they use the things that are removed from our foods to gauge. And so if you remove those things, and so I guess the best example they talk about, like with juices, when you have a liquid that has a caloric value, your body doesn't register fluids as having calories. And so if you were to have a meal and eat until you were till you were full, but then they have you have that same meal and they have you eat an apple and an orange before it, you would eat less food in your meal because of the apple and orange that you ate prior. But if you were to drink the juice of an apple and orange prior to eating, then you would still eat the same as you would have the first time, as if you hadn't had any calories through fluids. And so that was kind of, like I said, it's just echoing kind of more of what, um, what I've already been kind of following. He also has like a math equation he uses. And essentially, it's the healthy food is the nutrients divided by calories. So he factors in things, like the irons and the zincs and the things like that, the fibers that you don't really pay attention to with calories. I am going to mute that real quick. Hold on. So yeah, sorry about that. I Another thing I've been trying to work on, and I'm not exactly sure how it will work, but I've cleared out some of the area to my right, and I'm gonna try to bring the scale into here, so then I can kind of just weigh in on stream. I'll be able to just stand up. You'll kind of see my backside as I weigh, and then I'll sit down. Kind of how I wanted to do it originally, but it got difficult to track the things, or have the updated graphics, which probably aren't incredibly important. But like this one here that shows I'm at 400 now as opposed to 519. Let's see. Carrie posts here for one of my earlier questions. I think the biggest thing for you has been figuring out easy grab and go things that you can eat when you feel hungry and don't feel like prepping a meal. Yeah. Some of the things that we found, like the mango slices and just having a snack. Um, the uh, other thing with our diet, if you were following our diet, I had actually shared a video with Carrie, uh, and it was, I think Bolt had recommended or mentioned cooking with the Crocs, and they actually just posted a video today where they went to the dollar store and bought everything at the dollar store they could find that is um, whole food plant based, which is what our diet is. So let's see, Bolt right here. He is sticking to his diet because his skin condition gets worse when he gets off of it. You're doing a lot of recipe research, and you're buying a lot of healthy groceries. Yeah. A couple of the things that you mentioned, the research was a big thing, and that was part of my non-scale victory. And it is something that I think that happens with a lot of people when they first start on a diet. They get excited about it and they do all of the research they can do. And I know all of my family probably is sick of listening to me talk about this stuff. But uh, I think that as you progress, you start to lose kind of some of that drive to learn, and so that's kind of uh, something, continuing to learn. I think is great. And then the other thing I watched. So there's a lot of people out there that put YouTube videos out, and I watched one the other day about somebody that was starting a healthy diet, and they showed this countertop of all this health food they bought, and I mean it was an incredible amount of food. And I was like, it's great. All of the food was great, but there's no way that one person could eat all of that food before it would get spoiled. So I guess what I would just say is that don't go crazy just buying stuff that you think you're going to make yourself like. Find things that you like and then work the other things in. I know I've done that with like eating um like, or yeah, actually Carrie mentioned that, like, having ready to go potatoes. The thought of eating a potato just raw plain was strange to me, and as I've kind of been doing this, it's become more normal, and that's become kind of like like the easy quick alternative for us. The other thing I talked about, like, we have those Lara bars, and I just I I have a box here, but I actually bought a lot of groceries here trying to find the best ways to feed myself at the office. But I have those as well if I were to get into a pinch or really feel like a craving for something. Um, but so far I've been happy with our diet. It's been I'm not sick of anything so far. Uh couple things I did want to talk about too though is the as well as any diet is going, there's always going to be times when your food addiction comes back, or where you things. And we had recently, so me and Carrie have switched our diet over. Our children are still eating kind of and Furman actually referred to it as the modern American diet, which would make it the MAD diet. And I think that's kind of, yeah. So the kids are still on the MAD diet, and we had purchased them a pizza that I picked up. And when I'm driving home, I'm like having thoughts of how I could in the future have a pizza made from that place, but it's really not to stay on my diet, it's not feasible unless things change. But the uh, as far as getting crusts and things in from a commercial place. Anyways, but yeah, and so then I was having thoughts of, I thought, like, how bad would it be really if I were to just take my finger and just dip it on the top and then lick it just to have the taste, and it is, um it's just, yeah, I mean, I didn't, but what did happen, and it has, this isn't really anything to do with food addiction, but it is something where, uh yesterday I was making myself something that had peanut butter that we use that is just 100% peanuts. And my son wanted some toast, or yeah, I think it was toast. And so um, I had my peanut butter and I toasted, or I put it on what I was eating, and I took his peanut butter and I put it on what he was eating. And then as I was putting stuff away, I got peanut butter on my finger and I licked the peanut butter off my finger, and it was definitely, pretty sure, his peanut butter. Yeah, it was. But it's so, like, immediately I could taste like the oil, and I think he felt bad because I like spit it out, like, but uh, it was something where it was just so easy. And when I'm using my peanut butter, if I were to get it on my finger, I would lick it off, and it just happened. But it was kind of one of those things where I was actually talking about that like a week ago, I think, about what would be something that would, like that's the first taste I've had of anything with sugar or oil in it in like 2 months, and it's not even really a taste, but I mean, it was, but it was just, that's kind of how it happened. But it was also funny that, not funny, but interesting that I'd also had the pizza oil thing the day before, I believe. Um, Oh, and you also heard it called the standard American diet or the SAD diet. Yeah, so SAD or MAD diet. Um, they peanut butter confessions on today's episode of Weight Loss with Big J. Um, yeah, I don't want to be Big J anymore though. I've been Big J my whole life. I want to be regular size J. And that was something too that the Furman's book talks about, is like what expectation of what the actual weight of a person's supposed to be. And he gives a math equation, but essentially someone of my height, if I didn't have um if I did, if you had standard amount of muscle mass, I think it's like 100, he says 165 pounds, and that's another uh whatever, 50, 60 pounds less than what I'm actually, uh well, my goal is to get to, and so it's interesting to think. I mean, there's a lot of muscle mass on my body that has been carrying around all this fat, so it would take a while to get rid of that, I suppose, as well. um Harry adds, so weight loss with average J. um yeah, just weight loss with just an average J or something. um And then, yeah, bone mass. Yeah, I mean, that's, yeah, you have, there's a lot to factor in. He talks about that a big, the biggest gauge is actually belly fat. Uh, that and I'm just really in the first half hour, 45 minutes of the book. So, but he does talk, the book on audio, and I was warned when I started it, is pretty dry. There's a lot of graphs and things in the book that they can't really portray through audiobook, but they do have a reference guide that they give all the graphics for free on a website that they mention at the beginning of the book. So I've liked it so far, but it is something where I've had, it's, yeah, I've had goals to get to 300 pounds and goals to get to 285. Getting to 220s is definitely my most lofty goal as an adult, but it's definitely. I mean, even at 220, that still puts me on. That makes me, uh, and just the other thing that they talk about in the book that is that lifespan is directly related to weight or body fat uh, on the person. So the fatter the person is, the shorter they live. And I've always known that. But I really have thought about it more now that I'm on the path that I'm on. That am I really adding 10, 20, 30 years of like how at 520 pounds, if I'd have dropped dead, I mean, still at 400 pounds, if I dropped dead tomorrow, nobody would be surprised uh, to hear that somebody at 400 pounds just dropped dead. Uh, and so, like if I'm going to be alive for, that time, then being 220 pounds is going to be a lot easier than doing it at 400 or 350 or 300. And so, but, and I want it, and that's something where it's, I suppose it's, you want to live forever. I want to, I've always wanted to live till I was 90, and I've always planned to live till I was 90. But in reality, I don't know that there's any 400-pound, 500-pound 90-year-olds running around. If you see some, shoot me some photos. And so this is really something that it's going to add length to my life. It's going to allow me to see my kids get older and see their kids, and so it's been, I don't even know why I'm going on about this, but the, well, just the book. Yeah. And just kind of, lengthening my life is really kind of cool, and I want to keep doing it. So, that's about all I have today. I am gonna get back on tomorrow. I'll weigh tomorrow, and I don't know if I'll get that set up next to me or not, because it has to be something that I can kind of put away and put out pretty quick. And so that's the way I have things set up now. It's kind of stationary in the back corner, so it doesn't get in the way of anything. But if you, what I was gonna do is I'll put it in here right now because I mentioned that thing about the Crocs, and I had pasted. So I just posted the link to the YouTube video for anybody that is interested in or is trying to do whole food plant based and trying to do it on a budget as well. That's them going to like a dollar store near where they live and buying everything at, I believe it's Dollar Tree. I don't know. It's a dollar store that would qualify for whole food plant based. But anyways, my Instagram is Fasting, FAHSTING. Yes, they got a bunch of stuff. Gary said it was a lot of stuff, and they bought stuff that they weren't actually going to eat, but they bought it because it fell within the whole food plant based diet, just to show that they had it. Fasting. There's a Discord that is in the description of the video. If you click that, you can join our Discord. I think there was, the recipes. Bolt's been sharing recipes. Carrie shared a few recipes, and just kind of how you're doing with weight loss. You can check in with that. You can comment on the video here, and I will do, or you can send me a private message if you have questions or anything. Love to hear from you. Thanks everybody for participating in chat today. Sorry about the hang up with the audio at the beginning. That was a new one on me, and so hopefully I can get a start up where it isn't a false start here by the end of the week. All right, bye everybody. Have a great day.